Okay, on my last video on Windows Hello for Business, I demonstrated the whole process soup to nuts, but had some questions about the enrollment process with Zscaler Client Connector and doing that for users that are already off the network. So this is an addition to that. So see, my machine's just restarted. Zscaler Client Connector isn't running. I don't get any of the settings here. If I check in here, it just thinks I'm on the public network. It's connected to the network, but it's not connected to the domain. It's still stuck with that 8888 as its DNS server, so it has no DNS resolution of the private network. That's enrolled for Hello for Business, so if I log in here with my PIN, it'll sign in. It'll be able to get the primary refresh token from Azure AD, but of course, because it can't see the domain, it won't be able to get any Kerberos tickets or anything like that. So I'll give that a second to sign in whilst it figures out its life and everything. Okay, so we're signed in. I couldn't get my profile because it couldn't see the domain or anything, so we'll ignore that. And so we'll come in here, just run CMD, OK list. So no Kerberos tickets, dsregcmd status, and we can see here again it's AD joined, it's domain joined, it's not enterprise joined because we don't have ADFS in the flow, and then we're joined to the tenant and everything. Okay, so if we open up, let's open up Edge. You can see I'm signed in here. If I go to, let's go to my apps, I'll sign in transparently because I've got the primary refresh token. I'm on a hybrid join device, so we're all happy there. So what we'll do, we'll go back, we're going to send user profile sent, we'll cd to downloads, and I'll run that install bat. So the install bat installs Zscaler Client Connector, tells it that my user domain is welshgeek.net, my cloud name is Zscaler2, and it provides the policy token which specifies which app profile to use, and that app profile is configured to use MachineTunnels. So I get the Pre-Windows Logon configuration. So we'll run install bat, click next, install. Obviously you would normally run this as a part of your autopilot, or you deploy it with whatever MDM you want, whether it's Intune or Jamf or whatever it happens to be, AirWatch. So we're installed, and now it goes off and it'll do the install. And like I showed in the second part, interesting. Check login. Like I showed in the second part of the demo on a previous video, this then transparently signs in. So I'm authenticating against Azure AD, and because it's authenticating against Azure AD and I got the PRT, it does so transparently. So it's using that Windows Hello for Business login data to get the PRT, and then that PRT is sent to Azure AD as part of the Client Connector authentication. So click yes on that. We'll happily find devices. And what I will do is I'll run my PowerShell here. So we can run get net connection profile. And you see it's detected the Welsh Geek network now because Zscaler Client Connector is running. Let's click there, open Zscaler. So Client Connector is enrolled, Internet Security is enrolled. So I should be able to, if I do a klist, TGT, net view dc3 welshkey.net $. What we'll do is we'll run a lock of the machine, lock, we'll unlock, and I should expect to see the Kerberos ticket start to come through. So that lock and unlock tells it to use the pin to unlock that device certificate, or user certificate. The user certificate is then used to authenticate to Azure to Active Directory across the ZPA tunnel and get the ticket grant in ticket. So now if I dir dc3 welshgeek.net net logon do klist, you can see that it actually got the Kerberos ticket for that domain. So Kerberos ticketing is now functioning and everything. And so now if I close this down, and then what we will do is close all these down, and we'll reboot the machine. I like to reboot because it does show that everything is healthy, that it's able to get those tickets and everything before the logon process. So machine reboots, and we're there. You can see straight away the client Zscaler client connector diagnostics is there. So if we click on this, let's launch those diagnostics just so you can see that. MachineTunnel is enabled, and we're connected. So if we close that down and we click over here, we're connected to the welshgeek.net domain. So we can log in now with my PIN. Of course, as I said before, this will go off and get the PRT and join to the domain Azure AD credentials, but it's also then going to unlock that certificate that was created during the enrollment process and use that as the surrogate to get my Kerberos tokens. I say surrogate. It uses the ticket, the certificate to authenticate to Azure to Active Directory, and as part of that, it then gets the Kerberos tickets. So we can go back to a command prompt. We can run a klist. So we've got all those Kerberos tickets there. So I've got my ticket granting tickets, and I've got my CIFS ticket because it's then pulled down my domain profile and everything. So I didn't get that warning about my user profile not being synced. And if I run that dsregcmd /status, it's gonna it does take that a little bit longer because it's then talking to Active Directory as well for the hybrid join. And we can see all of that data in there now. And we're connected. So there we go. Installing Zscaler Client Connector once Windows Hello for Business is already enabled means that again, it'll go off and it'll do that transparent authentication using the primary refresh token against Azure AD.